This is Tampa. This is my home, full of hidden treasures and a vast culinary culture. Our rich history leads to an even brighter future. We'll talk to locals who know the ropes, find the flavor of the city, and explore Tampa's remarkable past. Downtown Tampa is truly a treasure worth discovering. Join us as we stroll along the river. Did you know Tampa is home to Florida's oldest restaurant? Join us as we go to the Columbia Café. Richard, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy day to be with me here.
Always nice to be with you.
Let me tell you, I have got to ask you, I've been wanting to ask you for the longest time. You took a huge risk opening up here years ago on the waterfront.
Yes.
What made you do that?
I promised my father, I think it was 1987, when the committee was starting to first try to raise money for the History Center, he says, son, in case I'm not here, you have to promise me that you'll be involved and put a Columbia Cafe in there because the history of Tampa is so important and the Columbia is part of that history. So he wanted to have a taste. So that's why we're here.
Well, listen, the Columbia Cafe, if I understand well, was actually the name of the cafe in Ybor.
It was originally the Columbia Saloon in 1903.
Oh, wow. Wow.
My great-grandfather was the general manager of a brewery that opened the Columbia Saloon. In 1905, he saved the money and he bought it. So it was the Columbia Cafe, a lot more history.
So listen, the vision, I guess, it runs in the veins, right? In the Gonzmart veins.
I live and breathe this, and when it came time, I'd saved chairs from the first air-conditioned dining room in the city of Tampa, the Don Quixote. The chairs we're sitting on are from 1935.
Oh, I hope this one holds up for me.
We've had to tighten them up. So Babe Ruth and Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio sat in that room. So one of these chairs might have been one of the chairs they sat on. I like to think so.
So see, in a few years from now, you can say Adriana Colina sat in one of these
Yes.
chairs. There you go. Tell me a little bit about the menu, because this menu is not the same as the one in Ybor.
Back in 1905, the menu was much more simple than what it is today. When I started at the Columbia, it was 32 pages. Well, I wanted to go back to the way it was in the nice, good old days. The people that would go to the Columbia Cafe at the turn of the century were cigar workers, 24 hours a day, walking to work and back home and grabbing something to eat, maybe a Cuban bread. But it might have been a Cuban mixto, a mixed sandwich, the famous Cuban sandwich.
Okay.
That originated in Tampa.
That's right, that's right. And that has a story of its own, too.
It's a great story. When people say that a Cuban sandwich doesn't have a salami, I said, well, it's because this is a Tampa sandwich. And they said, well, Cuban sandwich in Cuba, there's no such thing. Every sandwich is a Cuban sandwich. I remember visiting Cuba in 1958 as a little boy. I was 5 years old and trying to understand that because I used to get the mixed sandwich. It was made in the window at the Columbia. And the Cuban sandwich represents the Spanish, the Cubans, the Jews that came in, and the Italians. That's where the salami comes from. And the original salami always had peppercorn. And I took a year to find that. But I wanted to reinvent the sandwich that my grandfather used to make in 1941. I had the recipe. So this is the exact portions that he called for.
And here in the History Center, so we have the historic sandwich, but we also have some other things here that you just don't find everywhere.
Well, the 1905 salad is trademarked and nobody can use that name. And I've had people that put it on their menus but they change the recipe. I said, if you want to use it, we'll give you permission, but you have to follow our recipe and give us credit. It was named one of the top 10 salads to make a meal out of by USA Today. So we're really honored to have that.
And I know why. It is my favorite.
And then unique, though, is the Miranda crab croquette, the devil crab croquette. There was a gentleman named Miranda riding his bicycle through Ybor City, selling the devil crabs. He'd go to Palmetto Beach and get the blue crabs and pick the meat. And as a little boy, I can remember going with my mom looking for that guy and having those devil crabs because the Columbia didn't make them. So this is unique to us. So we're trying to follow that recipe to the best. And the empanada de ropa vieja and the empanada de pollo, my mom used to make those, my grandmother. So we're talking about history and we're talking about something that had to be unique. So when I see these items, I go back to when I was a child and trying to preserve that and know that my mom, my father, and my grandparents are here with us.
Absolutely. I mean, you're sharing history here. And the croqueta de jaiba, I remember as a little girl going crabbing. I know you probably did that here
me too. There were crabs everywhere. And the crab enchilada, which I think is a Tampa.
It definitely is a Tampa thing.
Even these plates, a recreation of the Columbia Cafe plates that we had. It's the same logo that we used at the turn of the century. We found a few.
How beautiful.
Yeah, so this is the only restaurant here, and at the airport we have a Columbia Café at the Delta Terminal. So this is unique. This goes back to those places from the turn of the century.
And actually, I hear the bar is a replica of the Ybor one as well.
You know, we did the same thing at the airport, and when people came here, they said, "Oh, you moved the bar from the Colombian Ybor." No, but what we did do was make molds of the crowns and the molding of the columns there. So it's really it's a feeling and flavor. And they did a great job. And we're one of only 15 restaurants in the entire United States that are 100 years and older, still entirely owned by the family. So I'm really proud.
Oh, and you should be. And let me tell you, I hear, and I know this is true, the Columbia is Florida's oldest restaurant.
Florida's oldest restaurant.
Right here in Tampa.
Hey, everybody has confirmed it. Nobody wants to believe it. They said somebody in the Panhandle's older. You know, there were older restaurants. They just didn't continue.
Yeah.
You know, so when you look, there's only 15 in the whole United States 100 years and older.
Well, the Columbia is clearly run, you know, with love and from the heart.
It's what I live to do, and to try to teach the next generation. My daughters were involved. My brother has a son involved. But we're teaching the 6th generation now.
Man, who would have thought, right?
I wonder, what would Casimiro Hernandez Sr. have thought? Would he realize that Tampa would be what it is today, and that the Columbia would be flourishing? I don't think so. I would.
It's amazing. And, you know, I know your Tampa is your home, but Tampa is in your heart, and you show it. Tell me a little bit about the Community Harvest event.
Columbia Community Harvest was developed as a way to say thank you to those who have supported us, and to be able to give back to the organizations that need our help. And every year we receive requests from groups, and we review it. I think Tampa has about 21 charitable organizations. So when you, the guests, come to visit and have dinner or lunch at any Columbia, each ballot's different in the community, you check off where you want, and I will donate 5% back to that group. There's no catches. It doesn't cost you a penny. We don't sell your name. It's just I want my people that come to visit us to understand what we do and to help us select who we should donate. We've donated, I think it's over $1.3 million to over 140 charities.
Wow, and that's the whole month of September, right?
The whole month of September, from the 1st through the end. And this year I'm hoping to make it a record. I'm hoping to make it about a $180,000 donation, because that's what my grandfather told me. During tough times, you have to help those more that need help. So that's the way to just say thank you and to give back.
Oh.
It really means a lot. You see how in each of the communities where we have Columbia is how they appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, and I know you're a runner. I know you're a runner. You've run with bulls and then all kind of crazy stuff, Richard. But sometimes I run right past this cafe, and I know I'm looking forward to Richard's Run for Life.
Richard's Run for Life started because I wanted to find a way to help fund adolescent young adult sarcoma, cancer in children, the number 2 cause of cancer in children, that wasn't being funded. Because I was told that pharmaceutical companies says there's no return on investment. I mean, what are you talking about? The best return is giving a child a life, a chance to live. They haven't lived life. Leukemia was the number 1 cause when I was a child, 100% chance you're going to die. And today there's a 92.8% survival, which is good.
Oh.
But, you know, it's not good enough, because a dear friend of mine lost a 4-year-old daughter to it. And so, you know, my passion is I'm committing the rest of my life to help find a cure for cancer. And I run the marathons, run 17 marathons. I give the medals to children that are really fighting. There's much more than running a marathon. And so I hope it gives people with cancer a hope. And if you're not a runner, you just come and register. We have pie, we have 1905 salad, we have ribs, we have Moe's tacos. The entry fee is worth just coming to eat. We have Michelob Ultra beer, we have Chateau Ste. Michelle wines, and it's a fun family event though for all.
Oh, listen, I've been there and I'm looking forward to it, and it's a beautiful evening run in Ybor. Music, it's just a great time.
I've got friends that run and are great runners, and they come from all around the state. They say it's their best, most fun race of the year.
It really, really is. And I'm a runner. My husband is not.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, he's done it, and he's recruiting people. Come on, you have to come. It's just a great time and a great event.
It's an event that if you come out, you can walk it. Many families just walk, and there's a shortcut too. and if you don't want to run, I'll mist you down so you look like you ran. I always say you don't have to. I can make you look like you ran, and we'll give you a good time too.
And you know, it's just for a great cause. I mean, so it's just so worth it.
And if I tell you the stories, how we saved a young girl, Jocelyn Kalsenberg, who age 9, they were going to amputate her arm in Iowa, and we flew her down to Tampa, and the first surgery of its kind was performed here at Tampa's Moffitt. They removed her shoulder and elbow and put chrome pieces, and her arm is titanium, and through magnetics they extended. I was with her 3 days after the surgery. She's moving her fingers, took her arm in the sling, and 6 weeks later she's playing the piano. 2 years later she's doing cartwheels. That's what this run is doing.
Oh my God,
and 100% of every dollar that donated goes directly to Moffitt. Doesn't go to administration, goes strictly to the research.
So definitely making a difference. And this year we got to pass 2,000 runners, right? That's the goal?
But the city says we got to stay around that number.
Be our secret. Be our secret.
We use that Cuban math and counting.
And so they could just go on, anyone can go on the Columbia Restaurant site for information?
And we have a Richards Run for Life website, and the Columbia will have a new website going on. We'll have where you can sign up. It's just the most fun you can have, coming out with the music, and if you're a really good runner, the prize is going to be that you're going to get a paella pan as a prize, with your first place, second, or third place.
Well, I know I won't be first, second, or third, but I won't be last. But I will be there.
but you'll be a winner and helping others win.
And I'm so looking forward to it. Well, I'll let you get back to your busy schedule. Thank you so much, Richard.
Thank you, Adrian. Nice to be with you always.